What's up, Canadian love? So this is a Mazurkovich rant because it's just me talking in a car with my beautiful camera team in here who's agreed to film me because we're on our way to something anyway. And but I had some thoughts that I really wanted to get out that aren't really an interview but are related to what I'm noticing. And I really wanted to get those on. Sorry, someone's in my blind spot there. I really wanted to get these out. And what it comes down to is the British Empire and the Roman Empire, and a bit of Mahatma Gandhi, and I'll explain that. So what the British Empire did frequently, especially in India and in Ireland, is that when they wanted to control and subjugate a people, they would simply figure out a way to make them infight, get them at each other's throats, and then walk in and take over whatever was left. So in India, the British Empire got to India. There were a lot of spices, there were a lot of riches. There was a highly complicated and extremely developed society. But there were many different kingdoms, many different religions, many different peoples. If you were in India, there was the north, there was the south. It was a very complicated system. And the British went, wow, it would take a lot of work to take over these guys. What if we just, infiltrate them with our spies and culturally and as traders and just start creating conflict between these groups? And they tore apart a country and then were able to become the rulers of this country. And it wasn't until Mahatma Gandhi unified the various communities and kingdoms and peoples of India, gave them a common ground, a common stand, found... Thank you, Robot Slave. Found, a way for India to unite, that they were finally able to Mahatma Gandhi themselves out of the British Empire. And that, and this is extremely telling. This is also what they did in Ireland. Ireland did not love being under British rule. Yeah, that's fair. But instead of fighting the Irish, the British turned a bunch of the Irish Protestant, turned the Protestants and the Catholics against each other, and they're still fighting. But what they hated was the British Empire. What they hated was being subjugated by British rule, but they were British Empired so efficiently that they are still fighting each other, when if they had unified, we wouldn't have a North Ireland and a South Ireland that were fighting each other, or that were politically divided. We would have an Ireland and they'd be free from England. But they got British Empired. Now the Roman Empire, I'm not saying the Roman Empire was great, but what the Roman Empire did that was brilliant is that when they took over a new group, they would say, hey, listen, we really like you guys. You have a lot to offer as, warriors or horsemen or whatever. We've got this great society. Listen, if you send us a bunch of soldiers and you want to be slaves for a little while, and then afterwards, you can have what we have here. And they effectively brought people under their banners by saying, hey, we've got some common ground here. Why don't you fight under our banner, and then you'll get some of our shit. And the Roman Empire did this so effectively that it wasn't until Constantinople fell that the rest of the world sort of woke up and went, wow, they're really good at just pulling us into their game and making us play for them. Now, the Roman Empire was not it's controversial, but the point is, in society today, everybody has an agenda. Every group has something that they are hoping to do, to aspire to create. And it is so easy to get British Empired. But when you get Roman Empired, that's how you win. And when you allow yourself to get British Empired, that's how you lose. Allow me to explain. Right now, there is a movement known as feminism that currently I consider myself to be a part of. I mean, there is still a wage gap between genders in Canada. That's not that people are going to men and giving them bigger raises as much anymore. It's more so that society pushes men to, be career-oriented and have CEO jobs, and society pushes women to be more family-oriented and not have their own career goals as much. So, it's it's a less direct thing than companies saying, "Ha ha, you're a woman, we're going to pay you half." That happens less, but there is still a wage gap because of the way society is pushing that. And one of the things that feminism has locked onto is, you know, the patriarchy and rape culture. We're going to talk about rape culture specifically because it's very heavy stuff. You know, so the idea with rape culture is that society has told women that their sexuality is men for a really long time, and there are still people who, you know, there are still men who go around being like, yeah, I get girls to suck my dick all the time. I never go down on women. That's gross. It's still a problem. And one of the ways that sadly it presents itself is through rape culture, is through men not taking no for an answer or assaulting people in their lives. And that's horrible. But you can get a whole room full of feminists and you know, sexual assault survivors saying, yeah, we want rape culture to be over, and that's great, but it's not going to end rape culture because it's a room of people who are already on board with that. The way to end rape culture is to go to the most patriarchal men and say, hey, listen, we appreciate you, we love you, you have a lot to offer, we have been hurt, but we need you under our banner. If you can get the douche bros and the patriarchs into the room with the feminists and get them under the banner, you win. You Roman Empire the shit out of those douchebags, and rape culture is over. Because that's how you win. If you allow yourself to get British Empired, if you allow your anger and sadness and hatred over what has happened to be your motivating factors, and you say, hey, patriarchy, fuck you, we hate you, we don't need you in this room, then you won't get them under your banner, and you'll be fighting them instead of an overarching system that is creating this, and you will get British Empired, and you will lose. So this is something that I really want to communicate to any group out there, and I'm gonna do another video, I think, in a minute where I have an example, but this is what I want every group to get into their heads is, I know you have anger and sadness, but if you allow that to be your motivating factor, you will get British Empired and you will lose. It's not fair, but you need to put all of that aside. You need to Roman Empire the fuck out of your political enemies or the people you disagree with, and that's how you win.